verse 25, as Paul addresses the concerns of the church and talks about virgins, which is a word we no longer.
All right.
Which is a word we no longer talk about.
All right.
Paul addresses, because in the mind of Paul, the virgin is the unmarried.
All right.
And the unmarried is the virgin.
All right.
Seems kind of out of date, don't it? But this is why he addresses the concern, because in his mind, the virgin is unmarried and the unmarried is the virgin.
All right.
They are one and same.
All
because
right.
if you're not married, you should be a, and if you're a virgin, you should be. Come on, talk to me for a few minutes here. And so Paul addresses the concern of the virgin. Paul gives his instruction, and the reason Paul says in verse 25 is that no commandment of the Lord have I received, but I give my judgment, is simply because Jesus never had to address this matter.
All right. All right.
And there are a lot of things that happen in the church that Jesus never had to address.
All right.
Can I tell you that? I said, can I tell you that?
Amen.
And so Paul gives instructions to the church so that they would have some guidelines, because people in the church as well as out of the church need guidelines.
All right.
Otherwise they sit up and go sleep.
All right.
People need to have, you know that, don't you?
Amen.
When you raise your children and you're teaching them what to do and what not to do, you know what you're really doing? You're giving them guidelines.
Amen.
When you tell them how to eat, how to sit, how to dress, how to put on their clothes, how to brush their teeth, how to comb their hair, you know what you're doing?
Giving them guidelines.
You're giving them
guidelines.
Guidelines. Before you got to the point of giving them guidelines, what did the child do? Sleep. I wish, oh, y'all don't remember that far back.
Amen.
Sleep.
Amen.
So Paul gives instructions to the virgins, and he gives instructions to them because this is the church. This is a matter that's before the church. And the church, I tell you, always need to be in a position to address issues that come up in the church.
All right.
Because the bad thing about the church is folks run around gossiping,
all right,
murmuring,
all right,
complaining,
all right,
instead of bringing the matter before,
all right,
before the church. Come on, talk to me.
Amen.
I mean, that's the problem that happened in our news, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I guess I will. It's early in the morning. I still feel pretty good.
All right.
I'm going to sleep in a little bit.
All right.
This is the problem that happened down, I don't even remember the church no more. But all I got to do is say two words, you know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Bishop Long.
All right. All right.
I don't care what happened, brothers and sisters, if it happened as a result of being part of a church, before it ever gets to the news media.
Amen.
I wish I could tell you this.
Amen.
Before it ever gets into court, the matter should be brought before.
Church.
Come on, Doc.
But people love to run around gossiping and whispering and murmuring and complaining.
All right.
Church are filled with whining Christians.
All right.
Just whine about nothing.
All right.
I broke my toenail. This shame, child. Did you hear how Reverend was saying the word sex, sex, sex in the pulpit? I just don't know how it's supposed to go on like this. God is not whining.
All right. All right.
When if there's an issue that pertains to the church, it should be brought before
the church.
And all because they didn't bring the matter before the churches all across the world now.
All right. All right.
And the whole entire church has been embarrassed because the church did not handle church business.
Amen.
You can't point the finger at one preacher and don't think it don't point to all of us.
All right. All right.
You can't point the finger at one church and don't think it don't point to all of us. The world is watching.
Amen. Amen.
The world says, I knew them preachers wasn't no. I wish I could use real language.
All right.
Knew that the church wasn't nothing. That's why I don't go.
All right. All right.
One incident in a place 1,000 miles away affects
all right.
all churches.
Amen. Amen.
All because church don't handle its own business.
All right.
Well, I feel something. Say I feel something.
But because we got a bunch of whiny Christians.
All right.
Just whining, just whining. They don't even show up church enough to whine.
All right.
Come every now and then and whine.
All right.
Oh, you didn't speak to me today. If you live long enough, I might not speak to you tomorrow.
All right. All right.
I may forget. I may have some junk on my mind.
All right.
Don't assume I'm ignoring you. Just whine.
Amen.
Oh, he don't like me. She don't like me. Reverend's always talking about me. And I don't know why he keeps talking about me. That's why I don't go to Mount Moriah no more. Whine.
All right.
Come on.
You keep on doing what you're doing, I'm going to talk about you again. Because
all right.
you fit it.
All right.
Good God.
So Paul. So Paul addresses this matter and he says to the church, he says to the church the same thing he reminded us in chapter 7 at the beginning in verse number 1. He said, I would like for you
all right.
to be as I am. I would like for you to be celibate as I am, but it's a divine call.
All right.
Yeah,
amen.
It's a divine call. So if you are a Christian and amen. You are married,
all right.
Don't get a divorce.
All right.
Divorce is really not an
option.
Come on, talk to me here.
All right.
And if you are not married,
all right,
then don't be trying. Now that just messed me up. That just messed me up because you know us.
All right.
I mean, we've been brainwashed to think that that's the American dream.
All right.
Right?
Amen.
Are y'all gonna help me here?
Amen.
You know, I could go home in 5 minutes if y'all just talk to me.
All right.
We've been brainwashed to think that that's the American dream. You get married and you have 2 kids, about 2, right? That's family planning.
All right.
Yeah, boy and a girl. Come on, help me here. That's it. That's the American dream. Is that right?
Amen.
And I remember even coming up in church and stuff, you know, that was this old expectation that all deacons and all preachers had to be married.
All right.
Anybody came up during those times?
Yeah.
The deacons and the preachers. Nobody else had to be, but the deacon and the preacher
all right.
had to be married.
All right.
And you know where that came from, don't you?